Saddam Hussein, Iraq director, started this war in September of 1980. It was started by ballistic missile attacks, extensive use of chemical weapons, and attacks on third country oil tankers in the Persian Gulf. Iran was unable to reconstitute effective armored formations for its air force and could not penetrate Iraq's borders deeply enough to achieve decisive results.
At least 500,000 to 1 million troops were killed on both sides. Around $400 billion of damage, especially oil facilities, was inflicted. There are three things that distinguish the Iran-Iraq War. Iran did not want to end the war, and Iraq could not. Both sides exported oil and purchased military imports throughout. Iraq was supported by Kuwait and Saudi Arabia, allowing them to have innovative weapons and warfare skills, making them top dog. At last, this war included three models of warfare: indiscriminate ballistic missile attacks on cities, the extensive use of chemical weapons, mostly in Iraq, and around 520 attacks on oil tankers in the Persian Gulf.
In May 1989, nearly 1 million Chinese, mostly young students, crowded into central Beijing to protest for a greater democracy and to try to make the Chinese Communist Party members to resign. For 3 weeks, the protesters went in the streets daily, marching and chanting. Reporters captured most of the drama and commotion for the newspapers and television for the United States and Europe. On June 4, 1989, Chinese troops raged through the square, firing into the crowds of the protesters. Tens of thousands of the young students tried to escape the Chinese forces. Meanwhile, others fought back, attacking the troops and setting the military vehicles on fire. It was estimated that at least 300 to around 1,000 protesters had been killed, and as many as 10,000 were arrested. Wednesday, May 13, 1981, in St. Peter's Square at Vatican City, the Pope was shot and injured by Mehmet Ali Agca while he was entering the square. Pope John Paul II was shot 4 times and suffered severe blood loss. Later, Agca was caught and sentenced to life in prison by an Italian court. The Pope later forgave Agca for the assassination attempt. Agca confessed that he was assigned this mission by a Turkish mafioso, Bekir Kalanek, in Bulgaria. The plan was to open fire on the Pope in St. Peter's Square and escape the Bulgarian embassy under the cover of a panic generated by a small explosion.
On May 13th, Agca and his backup gunmen sat in the square writing postcards waiting for the Pope to arrive. When the Pope arrived at 5:17 p.m., Agca fired 4 shots with a 9mm Browning high-power semi-automatic pistol and critically wounded him. He disposed of the gun by throwing it under a truck and attempted to flee the scene, but was grabbed by the Vatican security chief, a nun, and several spectators who prevented him from escaping or firing any more shots. 2 of the 4 shots were in the lower intestine, and the other 2 hit his index finger and right arm.
Following the shooting, Pope John Paul II asked people to pray for my brother, whom I have sincerely forgiven. He and Agca spoke in private at the prison where Agca was being held. He reportedly kissed the Pope's ring at the conclusion of the visit. Pope John II is also in touch with Agca's family over the years, meeting with his mother in 1987 and his brother 10 years later. Several theories exist concerning Mehmet Ali Agca's assassination attempt. Agca himself has given multiple conflicting statements on the assassination at different times. Attorney Antonio Marini stated, Agca has manipulating all of us, telling hundreds of lies, continually changing versions, forcing us to open 10 of different investigations.